Let's go.
It's another K-Town beat.
YouTube, it's your boy, Mr. Outliner, and today I need some help. And I say that because, man, I'm trying to get this channel to grow and reach more people. You know what I'm saying? It's not moving fast enough for me, and I feel like I'm not getting the best response from it like I want to. Some other people might be like, man, no, it's doing great. But anyway, by me saying that, I wanted y'all to go in the comments and give me some things I could do to make the viewing experience better for you, more pleasurable, or what other kind of content would you like to see, that you might see in other places, or you need or want to know about, you know what I mean? So anyway, I'm just saying I need help because I want to know what I can do to make the viewing experience better. Anyway, but to the haircut. So we got the taper fade with waves. This is also Rob. He got a YouTube channel, a couple 100,000 subscribers. He do pranks, tattoos, things like that, right? So you can check his channel out too. So this is the designer that Wall sent me. Look, this clipper, I never used it, and I was surprised by the clipper. This clipper cut like butter. I'm talking about this clipper so smooth, and I'm almost feeling like the designer in the magic clip. I almost want to say this designer is almost better than the magic clip for me, just the way it cut. And I'm not telling you that just because I'm sponsored by Wall. I ain't telling you that just because. I'm telling you though, this is one of the smoothest cutting clippers I done used, man. And no lie, hands down. Right? I don't know how much it costs or nothing like that because I didn't look it up. Like I say, they sponsor me. They send me clippers every month, right? And I give them my honest feedback on it. So if I don't like the clipper, I just tell them, hey, this is not working for me. This ain't it, Pop. This ain't what it is. But this clipper is the truth when I tell you, right? So anyway, we use a one guard on top, and I don't want to bore y'all with me cutting the top of his head, so let's jump into the taper. On this taper, I'm not trying to bring it high. This is just a normal taper, but we're gonna start the taper off the exact same way that we always do. We make our guideline. You just want to keep your guidelines the same on both sides. Whatever you do to one side, we want to continue to do it on the other side. A lot of times when I'm not recording, I just go ahead and make my guideline on the other side also, so I can make sure that everything is lining up correctly. But for video purposes, I wanted to show y'all, this way so you can see it. So after you make your first guideline, I use no guard, open, and make a second guideline. Now, most of the times when you got like a one on top, you can use just one guard to do everything. And like a 1.5, you can use two guards to do everything, right? So right here, I got the one guard open, and I'm taking out that next guideline that I just made above the first one. And to remove the guideline without making an extra guideline, you want to use the corner of the blade to do that. And the corner of the blade is what we do to feather out any bulk that the line came from, that the line created. Let me say that. So you feather it out, and from the one guard open to close, you do that all the way down, and then you take that guard off, and then you come back with no guard open to close, corner of the blade, feathering all the way down until you get down to where you started your first guideline. And by the time you get to that point, and look at my hand and my thumb and how I'm placing it, I'm actually stretching the skin. And here, you want to also incorporate that into doing the tapering, right? And once I get to this bottom, see, like right now I'm trying to get that first guideline out that I made. The only thing about these clippers that I didn't do, that I do with a lot of my clippers, is zero gap them. They come pretty close already, but they could be a little closer. I didn't even try to zero gap them. So I won't be able to remove that line with my clippers. So you see me switch to my wall seniors right here, right? Because I got those zero gap and it's gonna get a little closer, right? So it's good to have two clippers also, one that's zero gap, one that's not zero gap for certain things that you're trying to accomplish, right? So you can use the ones that's not zero gap to make your first guideline if you have a hard time removing guidelines. So right there, I felt like I needed to use the same thing that I put it in with, the guideline in with. I used my wall detailer, took that guideline out. And if you notice, I still use the corner of the blade in order to do that. Because if you go directly straight onto it without going at a corner, you're going to create another guideline. So that's the key to really getting rid of guidelines. You can also not make a strong guideline, but if you just really want to get rid of the guideline, you just use the corner of the blade. It's that easy. It's that simple. It might take a little time, but it will eventually blend right on into whatever you're doing. So you see the taper came out nice. It's sitting exactly where I want it. It's still a little bulk here that I want to remove. So I use my 1.5 right here. I probably could have used the 1 right there too with the grain, but I decided to use the 1.5 because I felt like it would be easier. So yeah, you see the taper, it came out nice. Now we can switch it to the other side and do the exact same thing. Now on this side, we do the exact same thing. We take the same exact steps, use the same detailer, make the same guideline in the same area, the exact same way. Right? You just want to make sure you're using a good flicking motion. It doesn't have to be an excessive flicking motion, but a light flicking motion. If you look at it, I'm still flicking my wrist a little bit, and that'll make it easier for you too. The lighter you are with your tool, the easier everything becomes for you, right? So I use no guard right there, open. I'm using the 1 guard here. Same thing that we did on the other side. I didn't speed it up on this side because I don't know if you was able to see it as well as you can see it on this side. So I just walk you through the steps again. So again, you use the 1 guard, open to close, come down, corner of the blade, use your comb or your brush. I like to use a comb in most cases to keep the hair laying down the way that it should. Use the corner of the blade to feather it out, to feather out the bulk. Once you get done with the 1 guard, then you want to come back with no guard again, open, corner of the blade, feather it. Sometimes you want to stretch the skin the further down that you get, right? You see me using the corner, I'm working that thing. That's how you do it. You work the corners, right? So long as you can remember those things, you can remember to create guidelines and how to get rid of guidelines, you'll be okay. Like, it takes a little while to perfect these things, but if if you just keep up with the system that I'm telling you, the way how to do it, eventually you'll get your haircuts to look more consistent, right? And that's the thing that you really want. You want your haircuts to be consistent. And over right there, I use a little clip over comb because I could have probably used the 1.5 guard like I did on the other side, but on this side, I chose to use the clip over comb, and I did that because it's gonna save me time, right? Because I had a comb in my hand already, and that's another reason why I use a comb a lot, because instead of a brush, not only is it more sanitary, but also I can use clip over comb at any given time throughout the haircut, right? So that's another good reason to use a comb if you're not already using one, right? So, and again, you see me using the corner of the blade, I'm just working it. I'm using like the first 3 or 4 teeth on the blade, right? And you see the taper, it's already pretty much done. Now you come back with the detailer and I clean up any little spot that I see that I think is not blended. On the back right here, we do, the same thing, but I'm not gonna bore you. I'm gonna speed it up a little bit, let you see a little bit of it, but I'll show you just a little bit so you can see. The only thing about the back, it's a little bit more complicated with the back because a lot of times you have a lot of different swirls in the back. So you want to, kind of just really take your time with the back and make sure you work the swirls out, the cowlicks, whatever you call them, wherever you at. Just take your time with it. Now after all that, we get down to the edge up, and on the edge up right here, you want to comb it down, right? And you want to look at what you're dealing with, how to approach it. And over here you see it's a little lower than this side. This side is actually up higher on the left. So you want to use your Mr. Outliner Detail and Mist in the beginning. This right here, you can get it. Check my description box. Or you can go to Mr.outliner.com, no dot, right, and pick up your Detail and Mist along with the wave pomade. Now, so I want to start from the middle, right, because I see one side is higher than the other, but I kind of want to start to level it off, right? And I use my brush here because I want the hair to lay down the right way, so when I approach it, so when I get ready to start working on the lineup, the hair stays in place, right? So work your way over. You just tap and pull it down, tap and go to the side, and that's what I do. And I'm following the natural liner right here. So you see the corners too, also, especially like on this side that I'm working on. His hairline is light in the corners. He likes to use enhancements to fill it in. So we will be filling it in, but again, if you're starting off and you're trying to do lineups, you don't have to push back into the light areas just to make a sharp line. You see, I pretty much have a sharp line here anyway. Using what we have to work with. You can take your time and still get a crispy look. You might have to tap it a few times and really work it and, detail it to the T, right? But you got a sharp line. You see that, dealing with what we're dealing with. If he really wanted to have a sharper line if he really wanted to have a sharper line, we could probably just leave his top a little thicker, right? But this is short, right? So we got that done. We did his vertical bars. You seen his vertical bars. Then after that, you want to come back from that same starting point and work your way over to the other side, right? And that's what I'm doing. I'm working from one side to the other, so left to right or right to left. however you want to do it. But if you start in the middle, it kind of gives you that balance to work from one side to the other, right? And a lot of times I use my mirror. So if you look at the mirror will tell you if you're going wrong or straight, or so make sure you use your mirror, also while you're doing this. So and when your client is talking and moving, you don't want to do anything. So normally when they start talking or something, I'll stop and have to get refocused. I don't know if a barber, if you hate that when your clients do that, like, bro, I'm on the edge of, chill. But you can't, they in the moment though, you know what I mean, which is cool. But for a barber, you're like, man, hold your head still so I can keep my point of reference going. You know what I mean? But anyway, so take your time with it. Use the mirror. I got the corner that a little sharp, so now I come on the other side and try to get this other vertical bar together. And he telling me right now that he like his hair. He still want the fiber in it though, but he's saying right now, man, you made it look like I really just don't need it like that. So, and that's what you want. Even when you're using enhancements, you want the hair to come out looking crisp already before you use it, and you want to use just a little bit of enhancements to make it. You don't want the enhancements to make the haircut. So once you get done with that, you come back and you can use your hair fiber. I use hair fiber. This is not color. This is hair fiber, and this is the part that I want to focus on. Knock that part out. Now everything is starting to match, right? So I use that to make everything match, and I hit the sides with it, vertical bars. You want everything to be consistent with the look, so that's what you're using the enhancements for, to make it look consistent with the rest of the haircut. No light spots, everything is dark, just like the thicker parts of his hair. So he looking at it, he telling me he wanted to look natural, and I'm telling him, yeah, it does. If you look at it, it looks natural already. It blends into the rest of his hair. And then also you can use the Mr. Outliner detailing mist to lock the fibers in, right? And from here, it's just cleanup work. You just tap and go. Make sure you try to get everything sharp and defined. I try to keep as much of his natural line as possible, so that when the hair fiber comes out, it'll still look the same as where I put the hair fibers on at. And like I said, the rest of this is just, detailing. So, and that's why we use the detailing mist. But you see how the taper came out? Everything came out good. Everything looking great. We consistent with it. Everything, right? So if you want this look, all you have to do is follow those steps and you'll get this look right here that you're looking for. But don't forget, I need your help. Leave down in the comments how I can make the channel look, be better for you overall. Trying to help it grow a little faster. We're approaching 30K, but I still feel like, it's something else I can do to make it better. I will make it better, right? It's all about improvement, self-improvement. You have to be humble enough to know that you can improve, right? But anyway, that's what this channel is all about, helping you improve, and I can help myself improve to improve the overall experience, right? But anyway, that's the video. Taper fade with waves. Don't forget, like, comment, subscribe. Tell a friend to tell a friend. You know how we do it. Until next time, love, peace, and hair grease. I'm out.